Hi everybody. So I wanted to show you guys today the way that I created a gingival veneer for a monolithic denture case. And I'm not the first one to do that, obviously. There's people that do this all the time, and there are people that are actually utilizing the same program. And I did try to watch some videos, but I got a little bit confused, and I kind of gave up on it until lately. And I decided to follow my own steps. I did a little bit of, digging through the program, and these are the steps that I came up with, and hopefully this will work again. I've done this once before, and so I just brought in a lower denture here into the app, and I'm going to open up the Medit design app at this point. And from here we're going to use the denture case. Okay, here, and I'm still kind of not used to all the controls and everything else, so sometimes it doesn't move very freely for me, but I'll try to show you guys the best I can. So for this particular thing, you're going to have to be utilizing edit mode. Okay, so let's click that open, and there's a bunch of stuff here for that mode. There's kind of different things you can select. You can use the polyline to selection. I generally use brush a lot of times for things like this. I don't know why I said I generally use brush for things like this. I've only done like one case like this, but you get the point. And there's a bunch of other things like smoothing, blocking out undercuts, duplicating, thickening it, filling holes, creating little bridges, trimming, sculpting. I mean, this thing is like really, really good software, and it is absolutely free. So what we need to do, we need to make a duplicate selection. And to do that, we need to choose duplicate first, which is right here. Sorry, I'm still figuring this stuff out. So we're going to click that, and then we're going to need to select an area that we're going to duplicate. Now, if I wanted to duplicate the whole thing, I'll probably just use the polyline and just select the whole thing. But we need to duplicate an area that we're going to be cutting out of the denture, doing the cutback. So I'm just going to zoom in. I'm just going to do a couple of teeth here. I'm not going to do the whole thing, just so I don't make it for 2 hours long. So the way I'm doing it is I'm getting fairly close to the teeth. Actually, not that close. I'm going to try to get to about right here. I want to touch the teeth. And the reason why those edges are jagged, I have a feeling it's because of the mesh quality. It's probably a smaller file size, so the triangles are a little bit bigger. So when I make a selection, if it touches one triangle, it just gets closer to the tooth. So I'm going to be right about right here, getting it at the free gingival roll. We're going to go right about here. Okay. So once you get this kind of selected, you can select an option right here, which is autofill selected area, so it fills in the whole thing. Okay. So now that our selection has been made, we're going to just apply it. Okay. And next thing I'm going to do is I need to thicken that selection. So the chosen area, I'm going to click it, and I'm going to confirm. So if I don't thicken it, what happens is that area is just one layer thick, right? So I need to make sure that it's thick and thick inward. So this right here changes the thickness direction. So right now it's set to be outward. If I click on it, left click, it changes to inward, or I can do both. So for this particular one, I'm just going to do inward, and we're going to do it at 1 millimeter, because generally my dentures are, when I'm doing them digitally, for example, or analog also a lot of times, they're going to be around 2 millimeters thick, maybe a little bit thicker sometimes. So if we do it a little bit less than that, which is 1 millimeter, which is half, we'll still have enough thickness to the denture when we cut it back, and we'll still have enough thickness to the gingiva so we can print it so it doesn't kind of fall apart on us. So let's just click apply. Okay, and this is going to be our gingiva final. Okay. All right. Okay, next, let me cancel this. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to thicken it again, actually. And the reason we're going to do it is if we just thicken the gingiva right here, inward by a millimeter, it'll be great for the thickness of it, but when we try to remove it from the actual denture base, the areas around the edges are going to be jagged. So we need to thicken it outward just a little bit, so when we remove it, it's going to have nice and smooth edges. So we're going to select this again and confirm it, and we're going to thicken it actually outward by 0.5 millimeters. 0.5. Okay. And that's going to be our gingiva for removal. So we're going to call it gingiva for actually Boolean subtract. So we kind of know a little bit better. Okay. All right. So our next thing we're going to do is do our Boolean subtraction, which is this option right here. So we're going to click it, and we have an option to put it together, which is a union, subtraction, or intersection. So we're going to be using subtraction, removing B from A. Remember this part. So when we click it, we have to choose which area we're removing from which. So if we're going to choose the gingiva for removal, that's going to be our B, because we're removing it from A, and our case is going to be the one we're removing from. Okay. So if we click confirm right here, what it should come up with is the area with a cutback. So if we actually turn this off and turn this off, you're going to end up with an area right here that's already has the cutback portion to it. Okay, so now you have our gingiva final, which is right here. Okay, so it's not lining up right now because I moved it, but this area right here and this area right here should fit together like a puzzle. Now, if you are doing a whole denture right here, for example, you want to do the molars and you want to do the interior and everything else, be careful of that, because what's going to happen is when you print this, it's always going to be rounded. So you're going to have a hard time fitting it at that angle. So what I would do is I'll probably create this and then probably take it into Mesh Mixer and cut it into 3 even sections and print them all separately and join them together for printing. So that's pretty much what I do for this kind of thing. That's kind of my whole protocol. And when you put it together, you might want to like clean this up a little bit and maybe add a little bit of composite just to fine tune it a little bit. Or when you're luting maybe the gingival portion with pink, you can kind of flow a little bit into proximally. So this is a fairly simple way of doing it. I didn't realize it was going to be that simple actually. So I'm going to try to do it with a lot more cases from this point on. Okay, folks, so from here, you just click Finish, and you overwrite existing data, because I don't want to keep the other files. If you do, you can do that. So I'm just going to overwrite. I'm exporting the data. Okay, exit problem with saving, after saving, sorry. So now I have all those files, and all I have to do is export them as the STL files and export them from here. Yes, let's open up that thing. So it exports all the things, but we know that gingiva for Boolean subtraction that we're not going to be using. We're going to be using gingiva final, and we're going to be using the cut mesh portion. Okay, so they, if I bring that in here, so cut mesh is right here. This is the gingival portion. Okay, and I'll print this in white, and I'll print this in pink, and lut them together. Okay, so hope it helps, guys, and have a great day. Talk to you later.